Going to the movies used to feel like an event. Now it feels like a gamble. So what happened, and who's actually to blame? Welcome back to Catalyst Corner. I'm Evan.
I'm Jim.
We talk pop culture, fandoms, and the business behind them. Not all hype, not all hate, just honest takes. We run a small creative business, so we're not just fans. We're watching how the machine actually works. Let's get into the breakdown. So this segment is called The Death of the Movie Theater Experience and Who Killed It. And the reason I wanted to do this week was because Cinecon just happened. And for those of you who don't know what Cinecon is, there's a convention for everything these days anyway,
right?
And Cinecon is basically where the media and the theater owners get together with the studios, and the studios basically bring what they have to the table. And originally it was just for the theater guys, so they could get a heads up, start prepping, get the marketing going and everything. And then some genius in PR was like, hey, we can use this event to kind of release trailers and have people speak and make it a whole thing.
Right.
And, I was watching some of it and seeing what was coming out and everything and listening to kind of some of the talks. And I thought it would be a good sort of topic because, ever since COVID,
yep,
the theater experience has drastically been in decline. So I think what's happening is, there are multiple angles that are sort of hurting the theater experience as a whole. And you have studios.
Yep.
You have streaming services. You have the price of a ticket.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, the theaters themselves.
Sure.
So the first segment that I kind of want to tackle is the movies don't feel like an event anymore.
Right.
And the examples that I have are The Dark Knight. That was again very much of its time. It was
sure.
It was really towards the climb of sort of the superhero explosion, right?
Right.
Like it definitely contributed to it.
Sure.
But you have an A+ filmmaker in Christopher Nolan.
Yep.
Making a grounded Batman movie. You have Christian Bale, good Batman, not the best, but a good Batman, a passable Batman.
Yeah, he was passable. Yep.
You have Heath Ledger in a tour de force performance as the Joker. I mean,
which nobody anticipated.
Nobody believed he could do it.
Nobody.
And he set the bar for a long time going forward, and that grittier, more chaotic type of Joker that was a lot more scary than funny.
Right.
Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent, solid performance all the way through. I mean, it was just very. And I remember going, and the theaters were packed.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and again, you just touched on it. The Heath Ledger thing. Nobody thought it was going to be successful, and then when it came out, the word of mouth of his performance drove everybody into the theaters, and it became a thing where people were not going to miss the opportunity to see that because...
Well, then you have the tragedy on top of that.
Sure, absolutely. You add that on top of it. But
so you're talking about morbid curiosity plus word of mouth plus ultimately the performance itself. I mean, it is a solid Joker performance.
Oh, it's a tremendous performance, absolutely. And if you're a fan of Batman and especially the Joker, you had to go see this performance. You couldn't miss out on that. People absolutely went in droves.
Another example, Avengers Endgame.
Yep.
Those theaters were sold out.
Completely sold out.
For more than 1 week. And I don't know if you remember Movie Pass.
Yep.
But that Avengers, I believe it was really Infinity War, but Infinity War and Endgame were really the final nail in the coffin of Movie Pass in that iteration because people were going 2 or 3 times to go see the movie.
Right.
Because it was It was an event.
It was an absolute event, yes.
Now, there's constant releases.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no breathing room for the audience.
No.
And every release is a blockbuster. Every release
Right.
is a $300 million budget blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when everything is big, nothing is big.
Right. Except the problem is you're not getting that same word of mouth. You'll get some movies.
Well, the spectacle is... I think what I mean by that is if every movie that you put out has a $300 million budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
The technology is what it is.
Right.
Right? And the audience will get used to it.
Sure.
So you're oversaturating the audience in the latest technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you take a step and you look at Avatar, Fire and Ash, so the third Avatar movie,
Yep.
still a huge hit.
Sure.
But you can see the cracks in the foundation at this point because,
Right.
again, the audience has been... And again, with James Cameron, he's got the cutting edge of the cutting edge technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when Avatar 1 came out, no one had ever seen any of that.
Right.
And that blew people away, and it was sold out every weekend, and it made all this money, and it kicked off the 3D craze.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Avatar 2, which, okay, we wanted more, and the tech for the water was cool, but it you know, again, it's not, the leap wasn't the same from pre-Avatar to Avatar as it was from Avatar
Sure.
1 to Avatar 2. And then ultimately when Fire and Ash comes out, the leap from Avatar 2 to Fire and Ash is the smallest leap because, again, there's nowhere to go.
Right.
And
Right.
so you see that in the box office numbers. It still did great. I'm not saying it wasn't a commercial success, but even Cameron, even Jimmy C was out there saying, I got to make these for cheaper or I got to make them shorter because the audience isn't tuning in. Like he
Right.
sees the writing on the wall.
Right. But the thing is, it's, you know, look at the difference between Endgame and Avatar, right? The latest one. There is no cultural impact with Avatar. Like, people will go and see it. No one talks about Avatar. No one. It's not in the fabric of the culture.
No, the cultural impact of Avatar, I think, this is just my personal opinion, I think it's less spoken about because it's more the technology that brought Avatar to life ends up making the technology that brings all of the more culturally relevant movies better.
Sure.
So it has its own weird subsection of cultural impact, but not in the same way that, like, nobody's fucking talking about Fire and Ash.
No one at all. No one at all. I didn't even realize it did as well financially as it did, because
it did
nobody.
Well, it did very, very well overseas.
Yeah, and all of them do. I mean, that's their biggest audience. But my point is that no movie that's come out in a very long time has made it where you regret not going because you've missed out on such a cultural event that you don't want to be the person who didn't go see this movie or this event and be left out in the cold where everybody else is talking about it, and it's in the zeitgeist, and it's so meaningful. Movies today don't, you know, and for the longest time, maybe Endgame being the last one to have that impact, but nobody's saying, oh, damn, I missed Avatar in the theaters. Like, people don't care if they miss it or not.
So that kind of brings us to the second part of this segment. And originally I wanted to go with just streaming, but I've kind of as I was thinking about it more, I think this segment is more technology related. So I would say, you know, in the golden age of movie theaters, which might be from like 1970 to maybe 2000, is really the true, you know, that's when it was truly an event, you know. And again, in its early iteration, in the 20s and everything with the silent films and stuff, you know, you would get a bit of news.
Yeah.
You'd get a short before the movie, and then you get the movie, right? So like that was kind of a very significant event.
That was
right?
an outing for people.
It was an outing. You were getting your information from it. You know, much different than sort of the 70s to the early 2000s,
right?
But I think what's really the technology, whether it was streaming or whether it was how good everybody's televisions are now and sound systems, televisions are dirt cheap.
Right.
You can get a 4K 65-inch for $300, right? You can get a little sound system for $300 or $400, and you're going to get a very, very similar experience to what you were getting in the theater.
Right.
So that's part of the technology that has caught up, because before, right, the only place that you were getting that cinematic experience was at the theater.
Yeah,
you know, you come home
absolutely.
to your 4:3 ratio fucking television.
Yeah, exactly.
That was 420 or 720p if you were rich, 720p.
Right.
And the formatting is wrong. You're cutting out the sides of the movies to fit in the square.
Right.
And you know, there was something about going and seeing it in high fidelity and having the surround sound system in the big dark room and everything that made watching it in the theater an essential experience, especially for, you know, relevant films.
Right. Now
with the technology catching up, my resolution is better than most theaters are now. You know, most theaters are you know, you got to pay a premium if you want 4K resolution. Right. I still can't touch the sound. I have a 7.1 surround sound system in my theater. I say theater, but you know what I mean.
Right.
In my in my television room. And it's not bad. I mean, I'm getting 7.1 surround with a subwoofer, so I'm getting an elevated experience sound-wise. Obviously, I can't touch the sound in a theater because, you know, you never will.
Right.
But it's good enough.
But it's close.
But it's good enough.
Right.
Right? And the other half of the technology is the streaming services. So movies hit streaming super fast now.
Right.
Because I remember when a movie would come out, it would sit in the theater for 3 months. So you had a 3-month window to watch it. Then it would come out of the main theaters. Then it would do the small, the independent theaters.
Yeah.
And it would cycle through them for 3 months. And then 6 months after that, it would come out on VHS or DVD later on.
Right.
And in that 3-month window, there was no way to access it.
Right.
Now, a movie comes out, it sits in the theater for 45 days.
That's it.
If you're lucky.
Right. That's about it.
And then it's on streaming.
Well, yeah. It's on streaming within a month to 2 months after it comes out of theaters.
So audiences are trained to wait at this point.
Sure.
They just say, and the other half of that technology is I can wait because there's 900 other things I want to watch on streaming.
Well, yep. I mean, well, that's part of it. And the other part of it is there's nothing that is making it so I have to go see it. There's nothing, there is no major draw where you have to go see it in the theaters anymore. Yeah, people still like to go to the theaters, and sure, people like to see it when it first comes out, but there is no movies coming out anymore that you are afraid to miss. You don't want it. You never wanted to be that guy where you missed it when everybody else, all your friends, all your relatives were talking about this movie and you did not go see it, and you don't know what they're talking about, and you're not part of that, cultural experience. That's not happening anymore. So people aren't afraid to wait for it to come out to hit their streaming, because there's nothing that is making it where there's it's that relevant in society where you have to go see it in theaters. They're not making movies like that anymore.
Right. I mean, I think that's part of it. I think the fact that culturally we've shifted away from celebrity.
Yep.
So, from what I remember, your two big event style movies were your blockbuster, right? You had your blockbuster event, whether it was like a period piece like Gladiator, right? Or it was a Marvel movie, But before Marvel, right? Before these big superhero movies and everything, what made it a blockbuster was the actor.
Right.
A lot of times you go see a movie because so-and-so is in it.
Yes.
That is gone.
That is completely gone.
And there are exceptions to the rules. We've talked about this. Tom Cruise has very much carved out his own...
Yeah, he's got his fan base.
Right.
Yeah.
People will still go to see a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
Personally, I won't. But
yeah,
I can't deny that it's not true. I mean, Top Gun Maverick did $1 billion.
Right, and they just made the announcement of Top Gun 3.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do? Right. It would be foolish not to.
Yeah, it's gonna do well too.
So the celebrity has changed.
Yeah, celebrity has changed big time.
Nobody is selling tickets like they were pre-Marvel, right? And I think there are certain events, you have pre-Marvel, which was sort of more your traditional cinema, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have the Marvel era where we had smaller budget movies to build up the heroes, and then the blockbusters in the Avengers.
Yep.
Right? And then you have the post-COVID era.
Right.
Which was ultimately the final nail in the coffin, I think, for theaters. Plus, with streaming becoming what it is, right? And for good or bad, regardless of how you feel about, Paramount picking up Warner Brothers or whatever, you're condensing these streaming services into Netflix, Disney Hulu, Warner Brothers Discovery, if that merger goes through. Warner Brothers Discovery. And that's really, there's Peacock and there's AMC Plus and MGM Plus, and, all that bullshit outlier stuff. And then Amazon Prime, right? So you have four real big ones.
Yeah.
And then a couple of sort of, smaller, your Peacocks, and then more so your much more niche curtailed content, AMC Plus, MGM Plus, sort of the stuff that maybe you get in a bundle, but people aren't really buying the script for that.
Right.
And the libraries that come with these massive streaming services, pre the existence of these, you had whatever you had on VHS or DVD, whatever was on cable television, which is whatever they decided to license and air,
right? Or
you could go to the movies.
Yep.
Now you just go, I want to watch something. I want to watch a South Korean fucking romance drama from 2006. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, but going back a second, the other issue, besides the death of celebrity, is the death of the IP, because besides celebrities who used to go because of the celebrity that was in it, you also used to have brand allegiance. You used to go to the IP as well. Star Wars being a great example, right? If a Star Wars movie came out, you were going, right, regardless of who was necessarily in it. Right, star power didn't necessarily matter so much. The brand was going to bring you in. Brands, the IPs don't draw. Just like the celebrity doesn't sell tickets, the IP doesn't sell tickets anymore either.
Well, I think the IP thing is kind of an interesting sort of topic, because I think what could have kept IP loyalty is, you can't milk these IPs for everything that they have.
No,
right?
Certainly not.
And that was the mistake, is they kept milking and milking and milking, franchises that were 20, 30, 40 years old.
Right.
Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones. Instead of creating new IPs and then franchising them.
Right.
The last big, you have Avatar, right? You have Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Which you milked.
Yeah.
That's kind of, you had Hunger Games for a while. There were some.
Yeah, but
they're still milking the shit out of those.
Right. But then, but the problem is that the quality of the movie, every one that you put out, is worse than the last.
Right.
And so the more you milk it and the more you put out a bad movie,
when the
people
stories
move on.
The problem is when the stories are told, they're told.
Right.
And it's hard to get blood from a stone. Mm-hmm. So it's like, do I think they can do the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie? Maybe, if they do it right and they write an interesting story. There's been enough time where maybe you can do that. But do I think there's a lot of juice left in the Pirates IP? No.
Yeah, but see, but there again, right? Would you go see a pirate movie without Johnny Depp?
No. That's not the top.
No. But
no, I wouldn't.
Hear me out for a second, right? You would go for Johnny Depp because of the situation with what happened with Johnny Depp.
Well, I would go. Well, specifically for, it's more nuanced than that. Specifically for pirates, I want to go fucking see Jack Sparrow.
But what I'm saying is, if the situation with Johnny Depp didn't happen and they were just putting out Pirates movies, we'd be done with them right now.
Right.
The only reason there's an interest in another Pirates movie is to get Jack Sparrow back after what happened to him. If you make then a movie after that, I guarantee it won't do well.
I think what the issue is, though, is I think that, again, I think it's possible to maybe do this one more Pirates movie or whatever. I don't know that there's enough juice in the tank, though. The fucking pirate story has been told, and then you went 4, which was miserable, and then you went 5, which was a little better, but still pretty shitty.
Yeah, no, there's no juice left in it. The only thing is a retribution for Johnny Depp is the only thing that would be a draw for a new Pirates movie, because there is no story to tell. There isn't.
But my argument is that I don't think there was much of a story left to tell with Star Wars either. And yet you revisited that and you wanted to continue the original trilogy.
Well, yeah, but that's the mistake that was made. I mean, you could have made any story you wanted in that universe.
But I'll keep going. I think the story was told for Indiana Jones before Crystal Skull came out. I think you told the story. I don't think there was that much juice in the tank. I don't think you could squeeze the lime anymore.
No, but that's why most back in the 80s and 90s, it was trilogies.
Right, there's a trilogy for a reason, because even the best of the best writers, after the third movie, shit gets kind of stale.
Yeah.
Because how much can you tell? If you wanted to tell more than 3 movies, then you make a fucking TV show.
I mean, the thing is, the first movie you introduce everybody, the second movie the bad guy gets the upper hand, the third movie the hero prevails. It's over after that. That's your story arc.
That's your classic hero's journey. But at the same time, in Indiana Jones, right? I think that's a good example because it's more contained than that, right?
Right.
After The Last Crusade, right, and they rode off into the sunset, that's the fucking end.
That's the end.
That's the end. You know, bringing out Harrison Ford as an older Indiana Jones, even if it was good, there's just not that much you can do with it. And so what I think is that milking these IPs to the level that they were and are and have been doing whilst not creating new IPs, right, is sort of another issue that's killing the theater experience.
Sure.
Now, let me move on to the next segment, though. So the next issue that I take with the movie theater experience at this point, the cost is out of control.
Totally out of control.
It's $18, at least in our area, to go on a Saturday night, which is when you would go, a Friday or a Saturday night, right? Mm-hmm. It's $18 a person for the ticket.
Right.
Okay. If you want to eat there, if you want a snack, it's $9.50 for a popcorn. It's fucking $8 for a drink.
Yeah.
You want some candy? It's $5, $6, $7 for some candy.
Right.
It's $50 to $100 to go to the movies now.
Right. Right. But this goes back. This also ties in with technology. I'm paying that money for streaming. So I've paid my ticket price. I'm going to wait for it to come on to what I've already paid for. Why should I have to then pay twice to see this movie? Because if I go to the movie theater and pay $18, then when it comes on streaming, I paid my $18 for the month to have the streaming service. People are looking at costs saying, no, I'll wait the 2 months it's going to take to get on streaming because, I'm paying for streaming. I don't want to pay the same cost to go to the movie theater just to say what? I saw it a month earlier than seeing it on streaming. No, the cost is out of control.
Well, the competition used to be, where is your movie ticket money going? Is it going to movie A or movie B?
Right.
But now the competition is, am I going to the movies or am I staying home? Mm-hmm. Right? Do I go to the movies and spend $100 or do I order takeout or go out to a restaurant and then come home with my nice big TV and my surround sound system? Or even if you don't have that, right? You're still going to have a high-res television.
Right.
Right? And do I just watch it at home? Mm-hmm. Right? Do I spend $80 on a fine dining meal and then go home and watch the movie where I can pause it, I won't miss anything, I can hear it, I'm in the comfort of my own home, when the movie's over I can just go to bed? Or do I spend $100 to go sit in the theater? And audiences are not showing up at that price point.
Right. And the other part of that too is, and this is obviously we're seeing a lot of this. What if the movie is bad? If I'm at home, I can switch the channel and find something else for my $20.
Your $26 or whatever for Netflix cover. If the movie sucks, you turn it off 30 minutes in and you jump into a different movie. And guess what? No skin off of you.
Right. Exactly. But now I've just wasted how much money and how much time to see a terrible movie that I'll never ever want to watch again because it was that bad. That's the other problem. Back when I was young, you would take chances on movies because it's $5. $5 to go see a movie. You don't, if it wasn't great, so be it. You had a night out with your buddies or you took a date, whatever the case might be. It didn't cost you very much and boom, you're okay. But now I don't want to spend $20 on a movie that's terrible and I want to walk out halfway through it. At least if I'm at home, well, you know what? I could put on another show and it justifies the cost of my Netflix subscription, so I'm good.
Right. So, I think the cost is another huge factor that people are facing. let me get into the next point.
Sure.
The theater experience itself kind of sucks.
Sure.
And what I mean by that is a lot of times now, at least, the theaters are dirty.
Mm-hmm.
People have their phones out during the movies.
Oh, yes.
People are talking during the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And the overall upkeep of the theater itself, and maybe that's because the theaters are dying, is in decline.
Yeah.
So you're asking me, and look, I understand that, in the TikTok era, attention spans are shrunk down, right? To a degree, at least for some people. But you're asking me to spend $100 to go sit in a sticky theater because you're not cleaning it.
Right.
To sit in a sticky theater to deal with people checking their phones. So then there's a light in the theater that I have to see, or someone's talking or whatever. That didn't exist in the prime of the theater. You would go to the movie to see the movie. Your phone was away. Your attention was on the screen.
Yep.
And that was it. The theaters were clean because they had one of the theater employees in there after every showing, sweeping up and cleaning up and everything. And that's just not the case anymore. So the price has gone up astronomically.
Yep.
And the entire experience has drastically dropped.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you something else. When I was growing up, we had ushers. We don't have ushers at theaters anymore. So if you were being loud or you were standing up or you were on your phone, the ushers would be like, nope. People are here to have an experience. We're not going to do that. You want to.
Right,
not that we had phones back then, but
you get your warning.
You know what I'm saying?
You get your warning, and if you do it again,
you're
out.
Right. Or you want to go to the lobby until you're ready, come back. But yeah, here's your warning. If I catch you again, they'll throw you out. Now, there's no, they don't have ushers because typically most movie theaters don't have enough people to justify it. So I think they probably got rid of the job. But, that's the other thing. You don't have the ushers to make sure that people are just there to watch the movie. Again, another part of the experience.
You can't ask people to pay a premium for an experience that isn't premium.
Right.
And the movie theater experience, you can put the reclining chairs in, but at the end of the day, if the experience isn't premium, you cannot charge premium prices.
No. And I think that's, one of the biggest issues that I think that the theater has to recognize and do something about is its cost. If you want to get people back into theaters, you got to do something about the cost. What is the driving factor to make it so expensive right now to go to the movies? Like what has changed in the movie theater experience where, like I said, 2 decades ago, it's $5, and now it's $18, $20. Besides, I get, and I'm not talking about premium, I'm just talking about your regular movie theater, your run-of-the-mill movie theater. No IMAX, I'm not talking about the PLF theaters or any of that type of stuff. I'm just talking about your regular movie theater. Why is it $20 when it used to be $5?
Right. We go to the next point here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a big one.
Okay.
Studios are playing both sides at this point.
Sure.
Warner Brothers has a HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
Disney has Disney Plus. AMC Plus,
Paramount Plus,
MGM Plus, right? All of these movie studios, and I don't count Netflix, right? Because
sure.
Netflix is its own thing. They were never
really do movies, yeah.
Right. They've always been a closed unit.
Mm-hmm.
Paramount was a movie studio, is a movie studio.
Yep.
Warner Brothers is a movie studio.
Yep.
Disney has a movie studio.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these have their own streaming services.
Yep.
So they want the streaming growth, but they also want the box office money, right? What that ends up doing is you have confusing release strategies.
Yep.
Some shit comes out on Disney Plus the same day, or whatever streaming service, right? Some stuff is available the same day. Some stuff is available 3 weeks after. What they're doing is because they're trying to have these two conflicting sort of business practices and own both of them, they're cannibalizing their own revenue.
Sure.
And there's not a lot the theaters can do on that side of it, right? Yeah, they can try to push for longer release windows, but that genie is kind of out of the bottle, right? Even if they're promising 45-day release windows, right? I don't think that's going to matter.
No, but that's what we just talked about. Like Paramount, if they acquire Warner Brothers, has said they guaranteed that 45-day window. That's great, but again, it's still going onto the streaming service on the 46th day. So again, if I have a Paramount Plus or an HBO Max subscription, I don't need to go to the movie theater to go. I'm going to wait because I'm already paying for that service and the movie is going to come out in 46 days. So there's nothing that's making me have to go see it in the theater because it's not a cultural event. No movie that's coming out. Look at how good Project Hail Mary is doing, right? Doing great. Does anybody regretting not going to see it? Does anybody talk about Project Hail Mary other than mentioning Project Hail Mary, the name? No, you don't. I don't know the first thing about Project Hail Mary other than the name of it. I know it's doing well. I know it's a space type of adventure, sci-fi. But no one's talking about it like it's this must-see cultural event. No,
and we even saw that sort of when Wicked came out, right? I mean, I think they really thought Wicked... I shouldn't say that. Wicked Part 1 did very well. And I really think they, relatively well. I shouldn't say really well. Did relatively well. And it was, in the pop culture for a relatively short minute, but it was there. Mm-hmm. I really think they thought Wicked Part 2 was going to be a blowout.
Sure.
And it wasn't.
No. It was nothing. It was a nothing burger.
No, and that was one of those ones where you're like, oh, this is one of those zeitgeist cultural movies that in the old days, this would have been a fucking home run grand slam type of thing. Mm-hmm. And it barely got any mention, and it's gone.
Right.
No Oscars, whatever. But, whether the film was good or not, like it just.
But this also goes back to the problem with the celebrity and the lack of celebrity and the way celebrities are now. They turn people off. People don't. It is a thing where people aren't going to support these actors anymore because they just don't like the way they behave and the things that they say and the way that they preach.
I heard something interesting. Someone was talking about, actors and their opinions and things like that, right? And they said, you're a professional liar. Mm-hmm. Your job is to lie to me. The fuck do I care what you have to say?
Right.
And how do I even know it's true? You're a professional liar. Mm-hmm. So, I think there's almost a hypocrisy to it.
Sure.
That it's like, hey, you make your living by, pretending to be someone else. How do I know what you're saying is actually true?
Right.
Right? Because, you're a professional liar. Mm-hmm. So I think it's more that, the hypocrisy of being played to pretend to be someone else and then coming out with opinions. But again, how genuine are they? And a lot of times they're not genuine. No. A lot of times they're just whatever's in the zeitgeist.
Right. But you are going to turn off probably half of the potential audience in the way that you speak, by the opinions you're taking, especially when you take a political stance, and that is hurting the industry, because people are not going to spend the money on going to the movies.
Go even a step further, right? Chalamet just ruined his Oscar chances because he was shitting on ballet. It doesn't matter if it's political.
No.
Nobody fucking cares about your opinion, and if
on anything,
right?
But,
and if you have, you know, a controversial opinion on something, whether it's politics or fucking ballet in the state of ballet. If you share that opinion, it's not going to do you any favors, because again, people care about your art.
Right.
People care about your art, right? At Catalyst, nobody gives a fuck what our opinions are politically, right?
Nor should they.
They care about the products that we make, right?
Yeah. Again, our opinions of the things that we're talking about here on these subjects are our opinions, and you could agree or disagree, but we're not telling you you're a fucking asshole if you disagree, and if you disagree with what we're saying, stop listening to the podcast because we're right, you're wrong. And that's what's going on, though, with the celebrity.
I just think it's tricky, right? Because, you know, the correct PR move when you're asked something that's outside of the scope of you, because they're at work when they're getting interviewed for this kind of shit, right? Like nobody's making these statements usually just on their own. A lot of times there'll be an interviewer that'll come up and ask something, right? And I think what needs to be done is they need better PR training to say, if it's not in your fucking wheelhouse, divert, and you know, hey, you know, nobody cares what I think. Let's talk about, you know, why don't we talk about this?
But this has to be, but if the studios want to go back to making these tremendous culturally impactful movies, they have to be the stewards that say, we're not talking, you know, we're not going to allow you promoting our movie to talk about anything that is other than the movie.
Right.
And if you do that outside of that, we probably aren't going to hire you because we don't want to bring you in.
The Rachel Zegler thing, right? She's unemployable now.
Right. And I think that's the stance that the movie studio and the theater should push for that too, because it's ultimately hurting them.
But to bring it back around, I think the studios, and I honestly believe this, I think they need to decide whether they're in or out on movie theaters, because right now they're straddling two canoes. With the streaming services, which they've thrown millions and millions of dollars into, you need to decide whether or not it's worth it to you to continue the theater experience. And if it isn't, then pull out of it entirely, because the way it's going now is it's just the cancer is getting worse, right? And eventually it's going to be terminal. And tomorrow you could say, you know, hey, we're going to pull back a little bit. We're going to do 90-day or 120-day releases. We want to invest in the theaters. We want to bring the movie theater experience back up. And it has to be more than just fucking popcorn buckets.
I honestly believe that the studios want out of the movie theater business.
Well, then pull out of the movie theater
I honestly
business.
do.
I mean, like, what's holding you there?
Well, I think that old Hollywood, and you know, I think that the actors want to see themselves on the big screen. Honestly, I think that the union, the union of the movie, the Actors Guild, I think, are pushing the movie studios to keep the theater going.
The union needs to get on the side of the theaters a little bit more to them,
right?
Because, you know, ultimately, because they're separate entities, the theaters are fighting this battle relatively alone, and they're losing.
Mm-hmm. And that's because I do think that the studios would probably just prefer to go to streaming at this point, because you have more people willing. That's why you always see, how many times have you gone on to Google or Yahoo or whatever and say, this flop has found new life in streaming? You see it all the time.
Right.
Why? Because people will watch it at home for a service they're already paying for and give it a chance,
right.
But they're not going to do it at the theater for $20 a ticket.
So before we wrap this the breakdown up, people will still show up to the theater.
Sure.
But only when it actually feels worth it to spend the money and leave the house. Example, Top Gun Maverick, right? People showed up. Barbie, people showed up. Oppenheimer, people showed up.
Dune,
right? Dune, people showed up. People will still go. There is still, it's not, the fire hasn't gone out.
No,
but it's on its embers.
Right.
So I would say the theater experience isn't dead. It's just not the default anymore.
No.
And if it wants to survive, it has to earn people back.
Yeah, and it has to do that by lowering its cost.
Right. Releasing a $45 popcorn bucket is not going to save the theater.
Nope.
They try to go all in with these popcorn buckets. And don't get me wrong, some of them are cool looking or whatever, but that's not going to be enough to save the theater experience.
Right.
Exclusive merch is and has never been enough. The experience needs to be either premium or the price needs to go down, or a little bit of both. I think the sweet spot for a ticket, $12.
Sure.
You can do $12 for a movie, under $30 to get two people in the seat.
That's reasonable.
That's a good feeling. I think you pull back on the concessions.
Yeah.
Right? It shouldn't be $9 or $10 for a popcorn. $5-6 for a popcorn, maybe.
Yeah.
But part of that is, and again, if SAG if it's the actors and everything that are really digging their heels in for the theater, SAG needs to be on the side of the theater owners, because the movie studio, they need to fight for smaller cuts from the movie studios. Longer release windows, and ultimately that's the only thing that's gonna bring theaters back anywhere close to what they were in their glory days. If that doesn't happen, I think we see it decline, and then it just becomes a fucking extinct animal. You'll still have mom and pop theaters that will show cult classics and things like that. I don't think the entire experience disappears off the face of the earth, but I think theaters as we know it,
yeah,
we're at embers at this point.
I mean, it's not extinct, but it's very close.
It's endangered.
Right. It's an endangered species right now.
All right. Let's hit off the cuff.
Okay.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
All right. Sticking with the theater thing.
Okay.
So, trailers aren't building hype anymore. They're just spoiling movies.
Sure.
So, I remember when a trailer would come out, right? And you would have a voiceover.
Yeah.
That would give you the plot of the movie, right? In a time.
Yeah.
And that was it, right? Maybe you'd get some vague scenes of what was going on. Here's Russell Crowe in Gladiator. He fights a guy. We don't really know. Here's the plot. That's it. And that would hype you up. Yeah, this is all right. I got a brief synopsis of what this is about. It looks pretty good. I want to go see it.
Yeah, and if you're portraying a character that's well known, they'll show the actor as that character to say, oh yeah, look at how good that he looks. I got to go check him out in this movie or her in this movie.
And that's it.
Yep.
Now, you'll get, if it's an action flick, they put 30 seconds of the last fucking battle in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if there's a surprise cameo or something like that, they throw it in the trailer. Everything is in the trailer now.
Yeah.
Half the movies you can just watch the trailer and get the full synopsis of start to finish.
Look at the new Spider-Man trailer. Way too much info that I've seen. Not, again, that you've said everything and not that you've shown, but I mean, you showed me the Punisher, you showed me Scorpion, you showed me all of the, majority of the bad guys. Yes, do I know there are other surprises? Sure, but you showed me way too much already. Like that, I should have had to wait to go to the movie to see that.
Like, what's a good Punisher teaser is if you show the vest.
Sure.
Show me just the vest real quick, and then that's good enough. Yeah. And I'll be like, oh shit, the Punisher's in it. Yeah. I have to see it.
But you have like a 30-minute 30-second interaction
of him and
between
Frank
the
Castle,
two of them.
Right.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
It's just like, oh, okay, so now I see the dynamic and everything, and like, that's the thing is trailers used to be a hype mechanism, and now
that was it.
And now they're synopsises of the whole film.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I hate it.
I agree.
That's my hot take.
Okay. Here's my hot take. I can't stand these YouTube movie reviewers and the ones that, not reviewers, the ones that do breakdowns of trailers and stuff. Doomsday, the ones that are now currently doing Doomsday.
Oh, where they go frame by frame?
No. They're going, when they go back to here, they look at the Doomsday trailer and try to say, oh, here's what was leading from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or here from Endgame. It's like, this movie was not created or even a thought at the time those movies came out. So what you're saying is absolutely 100% made up in your own mind.
Right, you're trying to insert retcons that don't actually belong
now,
there.
if you say, "Hey, that's what I'm doing," but to try to play it off like, "Oh, I picked up this now."
Well, not only that, they act like they're the experts.
Right. And it's like, this movie was not written. This movie had no Russo brother attachment. Nothing that happened in Endgame or Multiverse of Madness or any of the movies other than the Fantastic Four First Steps. It's the only movie that has any correlation to Doomsday at all.
Yeah, it's like it's another form of brain rot.
Right.
Basically.
It's like, I hate these people. Like, if you want to say it, that if
you want to input theories, right? Like, hey, I think this is going to happen, or I think this is how it might all connect, or anything. That's cool. If you want to say, hey, like, this is my own personal retcon,
right?
Sure,
frame it that way.
That's cool too. But acting like what you're saying is gospel and all you're doing is retconning shit to try to make it fit.
And trying to be like, I uncovered this. You people didn't realize it, but I'm uncovering it and bringing it to you like, oh, you didn't see that, but I saw it.
I'm a super fan.
Right, because I'm this expert. It's like, no, you're making shit up.
Right.
You're just retconning shit to try to make it fit.
It's just misinformation, bullshit, brain rot.
And it's just so
and there's
ridiculous.
A lot of channels that do it. Like,
way too many.
It's not an isolated thing.
No.
And they do it for video games too. It's the same type of shit. It's just these people that like to pretend that they're experts in things, right? Oh, I saw this. I didn't, none of you guys were smart enough to catch it, or you're not dedicated enough to catch it. And it's like, no, you're taking your own fucking fan theory and retconning it into somewhere where, it doesn't belong.
Right. Exactly.
And a lot of times it's fucking stupid anyway.
Right. And even if it ends up being right that the directors agreed with you, and they in fact do that, again, you're just guessing. You have no insight whatsoever.
Right.
They saw the same thing you saw and retconned it. Just the only difference is they can make it canon.
I hate those guys.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely hate them.
All right, let's move on to the watch list. So every show we watch one or two things, and we rate it as see it if it's in theaters, see it immediately, stream it if it's in theaters, wait till it streams, or skip it. Fucking skip it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
I got two.
All right.
Both of them are streaming.
Okay.
And I'm going with a yes on both to stream.
Okay.
Okay, so I watched one movie. And I watched a bunch of stuff, but I'm going to go with these two. I saw the movie Good Fortune. Have you seen this movie with Keanu Reeves?
Oh, where he's the angel?
Where he's the angel?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen trailers and everything.
This movie, right? It's a comedy, right?
Yeah, it looked pretty funny.
The thing is, it's not as funny as it is that it has so much heart to it.
It has a lot of heart.
It was Keanu Reeves, just great. I'm not a big Aziz Ansari, is that his name?
Aziz Ansari.
And Seth Rogen. But they weren't bad, right? They weren't
palatable.
Bad. Right. It wasn't that it was unfunny. There were some funny parts. But this movie was actually really good. I really liked this movie.
Yeah, but sometimes, right, especially with comedies that maybe aren't super funny, if it has heart, it doesn't need to be, a laugh out loud fest sort of thing. Like it's cool if it puts you in a good mood and then the heart of the movie carries you to the conclusion.
Yeah. But I mean, Keanu Reeves, there was some parts where he, will make you laugh, right?
Sure.
But overall, solid movie. I liked it. I highly recommend.
Probably a pretty tight runtime, right?
It is. It is. 90
minutes?
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
10.
Yeah. The other thing I caught this series, DTF St. Louis. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of it.
So we turned it on. We had nothing, hey, we don't have a series. And here's the thing. It starts off, and I'm like, and I just felt like I was going to be bored, right?
Yeah, because it's like a crime.
Yeah, it's like...
What is it, like a dramedy?
No, there's no comedy,
okay,
really.
so it's just a drama then.
Yeah, it's just like a murder mystery type drama.
Right.
Right? And, it's got Jason Bateman and David Harbour, right?
In it, yep.
A bunch of others. And it's one of these things where you think it's going to be boring and you think that you're not going to like it, but you can't stop watching it because
you need to see what happens.
It takes turns, right? And at the end of the day, you kind of can figure it out, but it's always going into a different kind of direction. And it's like, okay, I want to see what that's about, right?
Sure, you like the twists and the turns.
Yeah, and so
8 episodes?
It was 6 episodes, I think.
Okay,
right?
Hour apiece, 45 minutes.
Yeah, but at the end of it, I kind of called what I thought was going to happen, and I was relatively right. But it was good. It was good. I did enjoy it. There's parts where it gets, again, there's parts where it's really interesting and parts where I think it gets a little boring. But overall, I think that there's enough that it keeps your interest enough to follow it all the way through. So I give it a watch. I give both of those a watch, both on streaming.
Both streaming, huh?
Yep.
All right. So I got 2 as well.
Okay.
So the first one that I saw is the Anaconda remake.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did. I had, morbid curiosity.
Sure,
I wanted
sure.
to watch it. I'm kind of torn about it.
Okay.
if you're looking for some week, a stupid movie where you can turn your brain off, not think about it too hard, and you just need to kill 89 minutes or whatever, I guess. I mean, there were a couple of moments that got me to chuckle. It is a comedy through and through.
Oh, okay.
And it's a meta comedy. So it's very aware of itself.
Okay.
That being said, I don't think it's overtly funny, and there's no heart to it at all. It's very, it's very shallow. It's definitely, commercial cash grab type of thing. Like I said, a couple moments that had me chuckle. I think if you want to turn your brain off, you can stream it. I'd say otherwise skip this one entirely. Okay. The second one I watched is also a series, One Piece Season 2.
Oh, okay.
Fucking stream it. Holy shit.
I've heard nothing but good.
I cannot. It has heart. I got emotional at parts. It looks amazing. You can tell there's so much love that goes into the creation of this, right? And I think part of that is because Oda is deeply involved.
Yeah.
And it almost makes me mad because it's so good that it just proves that they can do it.
Sure.
Right? And 90% of the time they won't. Now Oda has tremendous pull. He's the only mangaku in the industry that when his health problems started showing up, the industry said, "Bro, slow down. We don't want to lose you."
Right.
Every other mangaku, they're like, finish what you have to finish until their hearts explode and they die. Right. So Oda, the amount of pull that Oda has is different.
Yeah.
Right. But that being said, it literally just proves when you give the creator control and you put the money behind it, you can create masterpieces.
Well,
and I think One Piece live action is the greatest live action anime ever made.
Well, and the other piece to that though is he's not beholden to Western values.
I think that's part of it. And I think Oda's skill, though, is that he knows he's making it for TV, a live action for TV. So he knows where to cut and he knows where to add.
Right. But ultimately, he's going, the cutting and the adding is going to be to enhance his story.
Right.
And there is nothing that's going to be cut or added that deviates to something that he does not want to be a part of it.
No.
And that's a big difference as to when the creator is deeply involved and you allow him to do his thing, that's what you're going to get as a result. But if the studio meddles and puts in things that they want that don't belong, that's when it becomes the giant mess that most of these things usually are.
I would argue that season 2 is better than season 1.
It probably would be. Is a good. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm hearing that quite a bit.
To achieve that, especially with something as difficult as One Piece, is truly, truly impressive.
Right.
And I really and truly hope that the studios look at this as an example of, hey, if we let the creators work, do the heavy lifting, we're going to have masterpiece level content that is very streamable, very popular, and can go for years.
Right.
So I say, if you haven't seen One Piece Season 2, watch it immediately. If you haven't seen One Piece Season 1, watch it immediately, and then go watch Season 2.
Nice.
All right. Let's do the pulse. So in keeping with the theme, today's pulse is, do spoilers ruin the experience for you? Or do you care more about how the story is told than what happens? So let us know in the comments. Do you care about spoilers? Do they ruin the experience for you? Or are you more interested sort of how we get from A to B rather than sort of the surprises that are on the way? All right. So that's the end of this episode.
Nice.
Jim, as always.
Yeah, pleasure.
You. What's going on?
Just keep your eyes on the socials. Got the artwork coming out every week.
Alf.
So I'll do my homage to the Wolverine, an Alf homage. But yeah, check out the socials, check out the artwork, give a like, give a comment. Be nice talking to anybody who appreciates.
Yeah, it helps. It helps push us up in the algorithm and everything.
Exactly.
We're fighting the machine. Fucking Terminator over here.
Right.
So that's this episode, guys. You know where we're at. CatalystCrafting.com is the main website. Catalyst Creations NH is our Etsy store. We've got a spot in the mall in New Hampshire over at the Manchester Craft Market if you want to go check that out. We have Free Comic Book Day coming up on May 2nd. We're going to be at Double Midnight in Manchester, New Hampshire. So if you want to come by and get some really cool shit that you cannot get anywhere else,
exactly.
This is the good stuff. Pop on over there and let us know. Again, did spoilers ruin the experience for you, or do you care more how the story is told? All right, we'll catch you on the next one.